This is going to be your weekly chakra energy check-in. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may be experiencing throughout your chakras. So in the comments, give me your word of the day, word of the week, whatever your vibe is. I'm definitely interested. Oh, interesting. I'm definitely interested in this interesting message. Time for a nap. Again, we had this card recently. I'm going to put this back in here. How many of you are exhausted? You know, yesterday in my live, we had so many discussions about tension, emotions running high, even anger. You know, I think a lot of people are feeling really pressured right now to make some moves. And there's this boiling point, you know. I think the issue here is this. We have many things going on in the world. We're very frustrated. We're also frustrated on a small scale as well at times in our present daily life. And a lot of people are really not sure how to navigate that or how to communicate that. I mean, even the astrology recently has supported the idea that there's emotions coming to the surface and even, you know, fights. You know, I told a story the other day about how when I was traveling back home from Europe, I had quite the journey, you know, traveling through various airports, and as I was coming home, I witnessed a verbal altercation between two airport workers that was completely not necessary to be done in front of passengers. It was not a minor, not a minor altercation either. And then even then I get to the baggage claim and there's two people, you know, arguing over whose bag this is, people not listening to each other. You know, and again, emotions running high. Now, naturally, when you're traveling, everybody's just tired and wants to go home. But this is not about an airport. You know, this is about general energy amongst people lately, where there's this feeling of, how about this? Lack of respect in some aspects. You know, I've noticed this with boundaries in general recently. You know, and there we go. All that glitters. All that glitters isn't gold, right? And I think that's kind of the message that's coming through. You know, sometimes we think we're coasting along doing exactly what we need to do, and then something comes along and kind of smacks us, you know, where let me give you the analogy, and I said it yesterday in my live. How many of you are proud of yourselves for making a move and you've celebrated that and it feels golden, you know, to make those moves? But then what happens is you stay a little too long in that energy. You linger in it because it felt good, you know, and then all of a sudden small things start happening, you know, they start testing you, they start coming your way, hitting you from every direction. And then you start getting frustrated and tense and angry and bitter and confrontational, even whatever the words are. I mean, you tell me in the comments, but it's this feeling of bottled up energy that's about to explode. And then when that explosion happens, some may not be aware that it's due to the fact that another move has to be made. And most people don't want to go make another move because why? It's hard. Nobody likes to make waves, you know. I had somebody say to me recently, I don't like the word boundaries. And what does that tell you? If somebody's upset with you for making a boundary, you needed one in the first place. Maintaining boundaries is never easy because guess what happens? You make the boundary, you make it known, you have the all-out discussion, whatever it is, you coast for a while, and then boom, there it comes up again and again and again. And you have to have that conversation, that exhausting conversation again, and even more so, you know, because that's what boundaries is, and that's what change is all about. It's pushing through the tough times. So I'm really feeling that many of you are experiencing the same thing, and I'm really curious to know in the comments if that is so. But I think that in general, a lot of people are just not respecting other people's boundaries, you know, staying in their own lane, letting people do whatever they got to go do. I mean, I've always said this, you know, when I was a high school teacher, I used to tell my students that people are always going to do what they think and feel is best. You're really not going to be able to tell them, and you certainly cannot force them. And this is where you get backlash. There's a way to come at somebody, there's a way to have a conversation, and a way not to have a conversation. If somebody wants an effective conversation or some learning to take place, then approach it in a way that elicits a response of openness and dialogue. Whereas if you come at somebody with accusations or yelling or whatever it is, it's just not going to get you anywhere. And I'll put it to you this way. I'm a calm person. I can withstand a lot. But when I do pick my battles, then that's a different story. And I would just say that be mindful of your reactions, okay? Be mindful of what you speak to people or how you speak to people, because it does make a difference. I think sometimes we forget. We get caught up in our frustrations. We get caught up in our anger, caught up in our own day-to-day, that we forget what other people are going through, Anyways, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But I feel like today's energy, believe it or not, I know I just went through all that discussion, but today's energy is actually really beautiful astrologically. There's an expansion, there's an openness, a heart that is wanting to explore and expand in regards to relationships. There's this ability to communicate better and to want better more than anything. And I know that you're all tired, but I encourage you always to know that this too shall pass, that everything will be okay. It's all perspective and what you put out there, And so like that card said, time for a nap? Sure, if you need a nap, take a nap. You need a rest, take a rest. But don't do that forever. See? Because some of you feel like it's a never-ending story. At a certain point, if something is a never-ending story, you've got to get off the roller coaster. You've got to get off the hamster wheel. I always say you can't have a tug of war if somebody lets go of the other side. You can't be on a teeter-totter by yourself. It takes reciprocation, okay? So nobody can fight with you if you get off the other end or let go. So let's take a look at the overall themes and messages for this chakra reading today. And we have happy, happy. Unlock the happiness. This is what I say. It's one thing to ask for it, another thing to allow it, okay? And with that, let's see. The crossing, initiation. This is my point. This is exactly my point. We are going into a new cycle, okay? Another level, so to speak. You're being initiated into this portal here, okay? And you can unlock it, or you can fight. You can fight that change, and fighting that change is not going to bring anything positive to you. It's just going to bring a lot of difficulty, and we don't want that, okay? Now, let me grab these cards here. Excuse me as I'm shaking the camera. Oops, let's see. The spiritual triangle, divinity, creation, and manifestation. What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? This is what I was just saying. Do you want to manifest tension? Do you want to manifest people coming back at you? If you're in tense energy, angry energy, is that what you want? You have to really be mindful of your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. And here's the thing, Gemini energy, we're in Gemini season. It's thoughts and communication, okay? So either you can get caught up in your head, or you can process and take things slowly and step by step. Maybe think a little bit before we speak, or before we judge, or before we act, whatever it is. So let's take a look here at the current energies. We're going to start with the root chakra. I'm going to be using the Chakra Wisdom Tarot here, which, as you can see, has all the different colors of the chakras or energy centers in the body. And then I'm going to take some oracle cards and clarify. Okay, let's take a look at the root chakra. Well, there you go. We got a root chakra card, Ace of Cups. Okay, I already know. I already know where this is going with this reading, because this has been the topic of the last few days. This is about filling your own cup. This is a brand new emotional beginning. This is what I'm telling you. This is, again, the initiation into something new that is going to serve you better. But if you want it to serve you better, you almost have to put yourself in the position to have better. And how do you do that? Well, you maintain your boundaries. Make boundaries, maintain your boundaries. Calm, cool, collected. Pick your battles wisely. Not everything has to be reactive. Being reactive doesn't actually bring you what you're looking for. Now, I'm not saying be passive. I'm not saying be too kind. I always say don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because that's definitely not the case. But I have this gift, and my gift is that I can understand why people do what they do even if I don't agree with it. And therefore, I'm going to pick my moments or my battles. You know what I mean? So I suggest you think about that when you're feeling tense or when you want to react. What kind of response do you want to get based on the way you're speaking, you're thinking, and you're behaving? Now, let's see here. With that, we have here the moon. Yeah, we have a new moon, okay? The new moon is on Thursday, and that new moon is actually very lovely. This idea is manifestation, right? Communication. It's embarking on new conversations or connections. I mean, Gemini energy in tarot is the lovers, right? That's a decision in love. It's that masculine and feminine energy sides. The moon here is encouraging you to trust your intuition and to, be in your divine feminine energy. And divine feminine energy, by the way, is not about gender, just in case anybody wonders. This doesn't matter, regarding gender. It's about, are you willing to receive? Do you have a balance of giving and receiving in your life? Okay. The moon can also be about recognition and revelations. And I think some of you are realizing that things have to change. You can't keep doing the same old, same old, same old. You've got to make some moves. And the best move you can make is filling your own cup. And let's see. The airplane. Funny that I was talking about the airport earlier. My goodness, I don't want to see another airplane for a while. But I will put it to you this way. This is about rising up and freedom. Breaking free. Taking off, leave it behind. It's time to ascend. It's time to ascend, okay? So let's take a look at, the Virgo in me likes to keep my cards aligned. Let's take a look at Venus, the sacral chakra, okay? Self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. And we have here the Three of Wands. Okay. So this is a card that says you may be sitting on the sidelines. I'll do this tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. And this is saying you got to make a move. For your personal growth and evolution, make the moves. If this is a relationship, do not chase it. It's not going to work. And I know that that's really hard to accept sometimes, but it's the truth, okay? We've got to recognize that we are the main character in our story, okay? Not anyone else. Don't put anyone else on that pedestal. Don't put anyone before you. You are number one. I want to remind you about survival. When it comes down to me or you, it's going to be me. Okay? Sorry, I'm thinking about NSYNC here as I say that. I can't help but hear the it's going to be me. It's going to be me. And that's the thing that I think people have a really hard time understanding is that by nature, our instinct is to say, yeah, it's me. If it comes down to me or you, it's me. Yet on our daily lives, it's like we're programmed to give, overgive, overdo, problem solve. It's a total contradiction of the natural energies. And I think we're guilted into feeling, stressed about whether we're giving enough, when in reality, it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no to something. And I think what it comes back down to, and I said it earlier, is respect. I think it's the thing that baffles me the most is how sometimes people don't have respect when someone says no, in any capacity. If this is like, a family thing and somebody wants to butt into your business and you say, thank you, I appreciate it, but this is what I'm going to do, and then you get the constant pushing. Are you sure you want to do that? Oh, I think you're naive. I think this, I think that. Listen, heard it, accept what you've said, and wanting to move on from it, right? In relationships, if somebody is trying to force a connection by chasing, and we've all been there, by the way, that you've been in positions where someone was pushing something with you and you weren't interested. It goes completely both ways. Whatever way you're listening to this, there's a respect level when somebody says no. It means you leave it be. You don't push, 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 push. Because what does it do? It pushes people away. How do you feel when someone is pushing you for anything? You don't like it, right? And I think that again comes down to where I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because I would respect somebody when they say no, but I digress. So make the moves you got to make for you. Don't make them because of somebody else. Your life is not contingent on somebody else. Your life is contingent on you. And there's the strength card. See, this is my point. You need the strength and the courage to make the move you got to make. And I think everybody's always worried about the what if. Like, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if this? What if that? Okay, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, this, that, whatever. Listen, you have no way of knowing until you cross that bridge. You have no way of knowing. So you can't profess to know. You can predictive program all you want, but that's preparing yourself for the disappointment. And again, manifesting the things you don't want versus the things you do want. So it all depends on your perspective. The Three of Wands is also an energy that says there's growth, there's expansion, looking out onto the horizon, seeing what the potential is. And why not make some moves to see where it takes you? Heart and home. What does your heart tell you? This is about feeling secure and love and belonging. And I know that this is the hardest part about boundaries. We just want to please. We just want to please our family. We want to please our friends. We want to please our coworkers or our boss. We want to please our partners. But at the same time, at what cost? At what cost? So this card actually does say boundaries on here. We want peace. Peace is the most important thing. Look at the 6-6, equal giving and receiving and balance, harmony, peace. There you go. That's what we want. Okay, well, let's take a look at the solar plexus. This is personal power. And there's the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about leaving the comfort zone. So you've got to leave your comfort zone to find out what is next. Because if you stay in that energy of the comfort zone that's not so comfortable, as I always say, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to feel the tension. You're going to get mad. You're going to be reactive. And if you don't like that side, then slowly but surely make some slow, methodical steps or implement some sort of strategy. And I think this is what it comes down to, is that we often know these things. It's not as if we don't know. We're more than likely self-aware enough to know that we've got to make some moves. The problem is that we put them off, right? We procrastinate. And then right when there's a fire lit under our rear, we do it, but we let the frustrations build up. We let the annoyances build up, and then that's our fire that ignites the next move. But it's also not a nice feeling either, right? And so let's see what else we need to know. The island. Okay, so here's the thing. Some of you just may feel isolated and alone. And I think somebody said this actually in the live yesterday, where they said, but I feel like I'm alone in my situation, or in a way that doesn't facilitate making moves. And I'll put it to you this way. When I was in a situation years ago where I had to make boundaries and make some major moves in my life, I was alone. I didn't have anybody to help me. And I have a wonderful family in so many ways. I have wonderful friends. But in reality, none of those people could have really done for me what I thought they could do. Because you know what? Whenever you want to make moves, guess what happens? You get people who like to keep you in the old energy that you were in. Why? Because it serves them. They like that. Because if you make moves and do things that are different, it means you can't do the same favors that you used to do. It means you can't be there the way they need you to be there. And so there's a level of frustration there that comes in when you're trying to accomplish something, but then everybody has their own agenda as to what that looks like. And in reality, it's none of their business what it looks like, because it's your mind, your body, and your soul. And it's important to recognize that if you don't make the moves for yourself, who are you making them for? And the yarn. I know there's hassles, there's problems. It's a big mess. Everything is interconnected. I get it. I've been there. Believe me. I've had it emotionally, financially. Oh boy. I would just say this, nothing is impossible. There are ways to uncomplicate things. It may take longer, it may not happen overnight, but you have to keep your eye on the prize. You have to keep your eye on the finish line that says, I want to achieve that piece and I'm going to do what I got to do to get there. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to make the moves to get there, or you're going to let yourself be worn down by others and stay stuck. And ultimately, that is a person's choice, but I'm always reminded, I always say, if I got to make it or break it, I'm always going to make it. And the older I get, the more I realize that I'm not holding myself back for people who can't understand what I need to do for my happiness and my peace. And so I ask you, what does that mean for you? Are you going to make it or break it? Which one? Which one? We all want to make it, right? So in order to make it, you got to make the moves, even when it's tough, even when you don't want to. Have the conversations, even when you don't want to, right? Okay, so let's look at the heart chakra, Queen of Wands, confidence. The heart, most people associate the heart with romance. And sure, it does, of course, link to your emotions and how you feel about a person or people. But it's also the electromagnetic field of your heart. Your heart has intuition. Your heart knows before anything else. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to be confident in the situation. This is basically saying, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to trust the process. And I know how difficult that is for everyone. I've been there. I currently know that trusting the process is never easy, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Trust your heart. There you go. The bellows, a catalyst, ignition. How many of you have been seeing number 33? I've been hearing a lot of people tell me that they're seeing number 33. But this is, it says effort required. Everything takes effort. Everything. If you're just sort of sitting back and going, well, manifestation means I ask for it and then nothing happens. Well, it doesn't happen because you're not putting out new energy to bring you on a journey that sparks new things for you. And I think that's the battle with manifestation, right? Why aren't these things changing? Why aren't these things happening? I watch readings every day and nothing changes. Well, readings are not going to change your life. They inspire. I always think of myself as motivational tarot, I believe that this tells you the energies. It's up to you to use those energies in whatever way you wish, right? And there's no judgment on that. Everybody's on a different timeline. Everybody's on a different path. And it's okay. As long as we're making some sort of step forward in some capacity, even if it's a small step. Every small step is a celebration. And let's see. There's the coin toss. There you go. Choices, either or. Yes or no. I think some people can't decide. They're afraid to decide. They're afraid to make a decision. And remember, not making a decision, it's making a decision. And this is telling you to take a chance. What do you have to lose, really? What do you have to lose? Okay, let's take a look at the throat chakra. Let's look at that communication that we were talking about earlier. Oh, the Emperor. And you got a throat chakra card with it. The Emperor is saying make a power move. And you know me, I talk about this all the time. The Emperor is calm, cool, collected. This is not somebody who's going to mess around. This is not somebody who's going to get into foolish arguments. This is somebody who plays chess, not checkers, right? He's playing with the big boys here. He's not going to waste his time on things that don't matter. And so this is telling you right now, choose your words wisely. Be careful in your conversations. And with that, we have here the beaver. The beaver at times is things working for you, but also against you. So if any of you have been having conversations with anybody lately about boundaries or about making changes, you know that you're going to get resistance, right? You're going to get resistance. And that's okay. That's part of the testing. I just mentioned this yesterday. Every time you're about to go to the next level, what do you think happens? People want to come at you. People want to test you, right? And that's part of the process. And you have to be able to navigate that, because that's asking, have you learned your lesson from previous experiences? Are you going to handle it the same way that you used to? Or are you going to do things differently, more efficiently, more effectively? You know, are you demonstrating the learning from previous experiences? And so this says persistence pays off. New things on the horizon, determined, repetition, making dreams real. And sometimes people have to repeat things over and over and over in order to get it. And if that's happening, that should tell you something, right? So ultimately, persistence pays off. Now, you don't have to force anything. That doesn't mean go and force whatever on anyone or anything. It means for your own personal growth and evolution, get through the tough stuff as best you can. That's all you can do. As long as you're doing your best, how can you be upset? You know, let me just go on a side note here. I feel like I'm having TED Talks today. The energy of testing. You know, when I was a teacher in the classroom, I would have many students talk to me about taking tests or exams in either my class or other classes. And I would ask them a very simple question. I would say, okay, you have a test today and you're worried about it? Well, when did you start preparing for this test? Did you last night just open your book at, 8 p.m. and you have a test, first period in the morning, or I don't know, after lunch today? Or did you think about this ahead of time and do your best possible work? The best. I'm not talking perfect work. I'm talking about your best work, meaning whatever was the best things you could do, whatever was your capability, whatever was your capacity, you did the best. You did the best. Legit, you did the best you could do. If you did the best you could do, then nobody can fault you. Okay. Now I know that, students will say, well, but the grades matter, the number matters on the paper. And I understand that because we're taught that as a society, that if you don't have 100% or you don't have an A+, there's something wrong. And I completely disagree with that, because I would be proud if your best was even a 60, whether it was a 50%, whatever is if that is your best and you've showed every effort, then why would anybody fault you? Why would anybody criticize you? Nobody's perfect. Nobody's an A+ in everything they do in life. That's an impossible expectation that we've put on children and people, right? There are natural tendencies, that we're good at. And then there are things that are not so good, but that doesn't mean we can't improve. We have a growth mindset. Even if your best is whatever, then celebrate that. And I wish our society looked at things that way. And that's what I'm saying to you from a spiritual perspective as well. You don't have to be perfect in everything you do. You don't have to be fully ascended. You don't have to be fully healed. That doesn't mean anything. What matters is the journey that you're going on, the learning that you have along the way, the perseverance you have, the effort you put in. If you're just giving minimum effort and bare effort, then what do you expect in return, right? Again, it's what you put out is what you get back. So, again, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The library, look at this, knowledge. I'm going to repeat myself for the millionth time on this channel. And I'm going to tell you that knowledge is power, yes. You can know every fact. A teacher can know every fact of their curriculum. But does it make them a good teacher? No, not at all. What you do with the knowledge is even more powerful. So, a lot of the times in spirituality, we can read a lot of books, watch a lot of videos, watch a lot of readings. We can listen to these messages. The key here is how you absorb it and what you do with it. Like, are you implementing? Are you trying things out? And what I love hearing, it actually really warms my heart, is whenever I have any of you in my online family say to me, Kelly, I hear you. I hear you in my head. I hear you say, trust the process. I hear you say, do you want short-term pain, long-term gain, short-term gain, long-term pain? What am I having for dinner in 2068? I don't even know. Like all these things, you tell me that you hear me. And I love that. I appreciate that so, so much. I guess, what I'm saying is, are you implementing, even on a very small scale? And on the smallest of small scale, I'm proud of you. Whatever that is that you're implementing, whatever you're learning, implement it. Get the knowledge, get the experience. Be curious, be creative. Okay, let's take a look at the third eye. Let's look at the intuition here. Let's look at the intuition. The Nine of Coins. Nine of Coins is about feeling good in your own skin, right? Self-worth, self-value, self-respect, pre-Empress energy, doing something nice for yourself. What's one thing that you could do for yourself right now that would feel amazing? In general. I even asked this in live yesterday. Tell me something positive about your life right now, about the world right now. We talk about all the bad things happening, and we know. But remember, with light, there's dark, dark, there's light. Tell me something positive. I would love to. Please indulge me for a moment here. In the comments, tell me something that is positive about your life right now or about the world. And I'll begin. You know what's positive? Having a wonderful online family that we can talk every day, we can share every day, we can laugh every day, we can have serious moments, we can cry, we can whatever. We have support, connection. I'm thankful. This is a positive thing in my life that I get to share my experiences with all of you. I get to learn from all of you. So what is something that's positive for you? The owl. The owl is wisdom, it's communication, it's being aware, it's being wise, exploring the unknown, having insights. Maybe you're seeing through things, that you resisted before. I think there's a lot of clarity that's coming up right now for people. And there's the baby, new beginnings, rapid growth, a fresh start, unlimited potential. New phase. Absolutely. Don't you feel it? And I think that's why there's tension. That's why there's tension. Because there's new coming in and it's so scary for people. And all I can say is that with all the stuff that's going on, be careful what you feed into. Be careful, because battling is not going to bring you the stuff you want. You can control yourself only. I've always said this. I can't control the political system. I can't control the healthcare system. I can't control the education system. I left the education system for a reason, because it's broken. And I've done all I can in that capacity, in that position that I was in. However, I'm doing what I can for me and hoping that what I've learned and what I share trickles to you and to others, and that you share it with others and you grow and you change and you expand. And that it's almost like watering. I feel like it's like watering a tree, the tree of knowledge, tree of life. You water the roots and they grow from the bottom up. We can't try to change the world from the top down. It doesn't work like that. A tree doesn't grow from the top. It grows from the bottom. And you are the root of your own existence. You are the root of the energy around you, of the environment around you. Something that got me in trouble as a teenager with my mother one day was, I don't recommend this to anybody or saying this to any parent. I used to tell my high school students, please don't go home and say this to your parents. But it's so true. We're a product of the environment that raised us. Okay? Naturally, we are. And I said it in a moment that really didn't work in my favor. I was of course being cheeky in that moment. But in theory, it's so true. We have to recognize the environment that we come from. What is it that we know? And then if we don't like that, we have to change it. And more than likely, the people watching this video or who are going through a spiritual reawakening, as I call it, are the people who are the one person that's different in their own family, that is willing to talk about things or change things or address things. Because not everybody in a family wants to address things. Not everybody wants to make changes. Some people like to stay the status quo, and if that's what they want to do, that's okay. They can do that. That is their right. But that doesn't mean that we have to live our lives under the thumb of other people. It's up to you. It's your environment. Your personal space dictates what happens around you, what you are willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept, what you're willing to allow or not allow, what you're willing to discuss or make a boundary with. That's all up to you. That's up to us, not anybody else. Don't give away your power to other people like that. So let's take a look at the crown chakra, okay, the downloads. And look, 9 of Wands. You might be feeling very tired. That's that time for a nap card. You're getting so much information at you left, right, and center lately, and that's okay. Take your time to process it, but don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. Pick what's most important to you right now. There you go, 1111 twin flames. You know, it's not even about twin flames. It's, look, connection. Heart chakra activation. Maybe some of you are reflecting on different things. What has been the catalyst for your change? Why? Why has this come into your life? And if you have been sparked by a person, because you know I call it sparking. If you've been sparked by a person, ask yourself, what was going on in your life when this happened? And I will bet you, more than likely, it's at a time when things were not going well. There could have been an accident, God forbid, we don't wish for those things. There could have been an accident, a near-death experience. This could have been a breakup, a divorce, you know, a loss of a family member, partner, whatever. These things happen when you're at your low. There's a catalyst for change. The universe wants to wake you up and say, get a move on. And that's the way to make it happen. It's funny. Love is the one thing that's always dangled in front of people. Do you ever notice that? It's almost like you'll listen when it comes to love. If that carrot is dangled in front of you, it's like you'll go for it. And me too. I that's why I'm saying I've been through this. It's amazing how these experiences, if you want to call them twin flame relationships or deep soul connections, think about why they came into your life. What was going on in your life when you experienced this? It's because you were looking for a love that you never felt before. But that love you never felt before was self-love. Right? And this is what teaches you self-love and pushes you forward. The love with a partner is the bonus or the byproduct of it all. And it may work in your favor and it may come to that fruition, or you may have better. And when you have better, you will know. But you have to be open to the idea that it can be better. So you want to balance your masculine and feminine energies. And I talk about that, as you know, every single day. Okay. Very likely. There you go. At this time, the situation or outcome is likely to occur. Yeah, you're likely to push forward. If you want this, if you want that love, if you want all the best of the best of the best of the best, then you got to push through this. You know, and I know it's hard. Believe me, none of this is easy. None of it is easy. Okay, I'm going to go to the inner child oracle cards here. Wow. Again, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Deep, passionate conversations, you know? You do not have to go it alone. Reach out for support in this time. Okay. That's an interesting message considering what I said to you earlier, because those of you who have said to me you feel alone or you feel don't have the support. But guess what? I want to just address this, because I think we could take this in many ways. You're not alone, okay? Regardless of whether you think you have your closest friends and family and partner, you're not alone, okay? You have yourself. You have your soul. You have source. You have God, whoever you believe in. You have right here an energy that supports you. It doesn't have to be a physical person that supports you, okay? It can be energies that support you. You know, some people sometimes tell me that they're a silent watcher, you know, that they watch my videos and they don't always comment or they don't always participate in my online lives. And that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. There's no expectation for that. Sometimes just this kind of support can help you feel like you are with another person. You know, sometimes people say, Kelly, I hear you, or you've helped me, or whatever. Even if I'm helping you on this level, you're not alone. The guidance is here. There is guidance and support around you if you ask for it. Ask your guides, ask your angels, ask for protection. Ask God if that's what you prefer. but you're not alone. Support can mean different things. Support does not have to mean a specific family member, a specific friend, a specific partner. So it's all dependent on how you look at things. Okay. Anyways, I send you so much love. Oops, as I hit the table, pardon me. I send you so much love. I know this energy isn't always easy, but today actually there's a bit of a lightness in the air. So embrace that, please. And if you need a break, take a break. If you need support, I'm here. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. Thank you as always, and I wish you an amazing day.